3, 2, and 1.
We were already live though before that, remember?
Yeah, but the countdown always looks.
Yeah, unless it's me, flashing the screen.
Yeah, that's not a countdown. That's just a welcome to the internet, everyone. Hi, I'm Big D.
Lady Dragon, I am looking at the notification that I just received that this is live.
We are live. Hi there, folks. Live. I'm gonna quick go in my Discord and yell at all of them losers in there.
For you. But fun.
Live. Anyhow, here we are. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. Little. Can my glasses from behind it?
Sure.
Or far to your right? Like behind the pies.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Why do you keep asking me again?
Because you're in a rotating chair.
It still hurts.
Oh my god. Hello.
And I'm the host Zane. I'm the Zoom meeting. Gotta go.
All right.
All right. Love you, Zane. Hello, Mythos.
Zane, Commodore. Which I'm assuming if Commodore's there, we've probably got Phoenix in there, and she's probably just either looking over his shoulder or doing something important or useful.
Oh, Jesus, that troll just showed up.
Oh, my God. So, here we are, our first show after the leaving.
The abandonment.
The disappearance.
Oh, and he's getting a bell.
You
really don't need to show my,
I gotta show you. Pooch.
No, we really don't need to show my.
I love your Pooch. Look at this. Look at Poochie. Well, good morning. All right.
Good morning.
So.
That hurt.
See? That's what you get for hurting me. I love you.
Yeah, Ray, feel bad. Feel horrible. Your room did this to me. I'm hurt. You're getting a bill. Hi, Rick!
Hi, Rick and All right, guys. So, here we are. We are live. And we are in week 3 of separation anxiety time. What do you got on the bench?
Well, what I have been working on is actually trying to attempt a simple but my style of batch painting. Currently, I've got my little chain wreaths that I've been working on. I've got 10 of these guys. They're actually close to being finished before I add my custom glaze onto them so that they stay, within the same vein as my Craven King and Lady Olinder.
I like that green.
Yes. So.
What did you use for that green?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, are you really going to make me do it?
Yes, I'm going to make you do it because we're talking.
You're trying to kill time is what you're trying to do.
No, we're talking about our processes here.
Originally with the others, I was just doing plain white, and then I would add like Druchii Violet or Nightshade Blue, or in some cases I just did non-oil, and that was it. Well, this time when I put down Wraithbone as their base, and then when I was trying to decide what color, he suggested using their Hex Wraith Flame, which is a standard color that you honestly will see with these guys if you go by the official color scheme. Hi, Mike. He wants to know what happened to your hair.
It fell off.
And then after that, I used Scar White, or White Scar, to add a dry brush and highlights to the folds of the robe. And then after that, I will be going over with my opalescent silver glaze just to give it that shimmery effect for the whole thing. Hi, honey.
But she's knocking out her Night Hunt pretty well. She's doing.
I need to get through those because I had this wonderful idea, thanks to Goobertown Hobbies. If you happen to see this, thank you so much. Where he was talking about his Eldor collection, where apparently he painted, you know, like here's 10 in this color and here's 10 in that color, because he loves colors. And yes, Big D's hair is on my lap and it has given him a dirty look. But yes, Spooky Boys are a lot of fun to paint. I've been having a lot of fun painting them, and oh, look at that. She wants his attention.
Yes, she loves her daddy.
So, for those of you who are wondering, the floof on my lap, this is Wasabi. She is my attention whore. And we just recently got a new animal in the house, and she's a bigger attention whore than Wasabi here is. Hello, minions. Hello, Brother Al. Hello, my darling Phoenix. But
yes.
So now I want to. Yeah, she needs to be brushed pretty bad. So I want to do. I have 2 raiders, and I want to do one in the colors that I did my original witches in, which was black and purple, because my other raider I have is in black and red, which are the officially Inari colors. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do my second one in the purple, so that I can tell that belongs to this cult. So it's kind of cool. Thank you once again to Goobertown Hobbies. Other than that, I have been working pretty hard on a commission piece that was given to me by Hellworks, by Hellchild.
She'd go get it and show it to y'all, but her back's kind of jacked right now.
Actually, I was planning on getting up and getting it anyway, so I can work on it because it'll be less painful than trying to lean over the bench.
Okay.
I just have to get rid of Wasabi first, and
I can do that.
Yep, please stop. She's got claws in my leg. She's also polydactyl, so she is got, instead of 5 claws, she has 7 on this paw and 6 on this. Unlike her sister, who's got 8 and 9.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Thank you, Mike. So I'm trying to focus fire here, considering I've got 6 months to get my Armies on Parade board up and running. 4 months? I thought it was October.
It's August. Although they might move it up to October.
I thought it was in October last year.
Might have been. You would have done by the end of August, anyhow.
Yeah, probably. So trying to get through those beauties so I can finish up what's left, get my,
She got less to turn, but you're good.
Yeah,
You're getting through it. You're getting through it.
So on that note, I'm going to go get my picture that I've been working on that's starting to take a very Frank Miller aspect to it, and he's going to.
And I can talk about my boys.
Yep.
My boys.
And I'll reply to his name before he.
So I got 10 of these guys done. So that's 10 more done for the miniatures challenge. 10 more done for April. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about those new giants. You're gonna be talking about those big time. Yeah, they look great. I got those 10 painted. I've got some base tones down on the next 10. And I have the skin tones and some other starting touches on the next 10. So I got 30 boys to work on. Plus I got this guy assembled. So I got him assembled and primed. I'm going to bust out the airbrush and get him starting his sexy multi-tone color shifting purple. By the way, color shifting blue. Big props to everyone last week who gave me a bunch of tips on getting the airbrush working again. They all worked. I ended up reaming that thing out and I thought I'd reamed it out multiple times, but I got in there even deeper, and it did have another clog, some of that large particulates for the color shifting paints. Some of the large particulates for that color shifting paint had plugged up the nozzle and restricted the air. So once I got that cleared out, base coatings went great. So yeah, I got the metal down on my my truck. So we wanted to replace the thing soon anyhow, right?
Yeah, it should be here on Thursday.
Is that what was ordered? Okay, I wasn't here.
Yes.
So this guy is got his base coat in metal down, and now we're gonna start going over and start putting the blues on him, and doing some highlighting. I'm actually gonna do some chipping effects on him. I'm actually thinking about putting a Sealy gloss on him and doing a salt rust coat on him. And then spray some brown, seal that, and then put some hairspray on there, and then do blue, and then do some more scratch on that. I really want to weather the crap out of this truck. So, and since it's the auction, it doesn't matter because their stuff can look as beat up or as wonderful as you want. I really want to I want to use this truck to try some weathering techniques since it has some real interesting panel work on it to make it look more ramshackle. So I'm actually going to be doing a number of different modeling techniques. Quick shout out, if you're not a fan already, I know I've talked about them before. If you do not watch the YouTube channel Plasmo, Plasmo, he's a modeling channel, but oh my gosh, he explains how to do some really great weathering techniques, chipping techniques, welding techniques. To do weld lines and whatnot, just really, really good stuff. And he breaks it down into really
easy to understand.
It's not just easy to understand. He does it in ways that he shows and explains in a really honestly, and he's fun to listen to. He's enjoyable to listen to. He's kind of like the Duncan of modeling. So really, really talented painter. And just really informative. So, Cinna Dave, actually, he and I have talked about him a bit. Yeah, Plasmo was amazing. So, if you're not familiar with Plasmo, go on and give a couple of his weathering tutorials a view. Just a really great channel. Really, really good stuff. The other guy I would always suggest, again, I've actually talked with Weatherpig about him, is Herbert Erpaderp. I love his name. Herbert Erpaderp. Again, he does some really great weathering techniques. He does a Mad Max bug, a Mad Max VW Beetle, classic 60s Beetle, that he Mad Maxes up, and he does all kinds of rust and sun fading techniques, and just a lovely, lovely kit bash. So good stuff. And Herbert has a Discord even. Okay, I'll have to go drop into there because that's some interesting stuff. I want to make with my orcs. I actually want to spend a bit of time on their vehicles since I'm going to be doing some heavy kit bashing for some of their vehicles. I really want to spend some time as the year goes on. One of these things I've decided that as I paint things and as I get better at painting, I want to try more techniques. I've got a lot of catching up to do, I think. So I want to start trying to do better techniques and learning better ways of doing advanced techniques to really bring my game up. So when I put a vehicle on the table, people are like, holy crow, that kind of thing. Holy crow. Yes, holy crow. I already started using one set of techniques for weathering, a cheap and fast way of weathering that I learned from watching a tutorial by Midwinter Minis that I used on my my first Def Dread, and using sponging techniques. and focusing on centers of panel and using native colors, using the same tone of color, but just going for levels of saturation. It really turned out really well. Hard to describe the technique. Look at his at Midwinter Minis Orc Stampa speed paint. It's great weathering technique and it's speed painting. So Danny's Diecast Disasters. I have heard some good things about him. I've only watched a little bit of his stuff, but yeah. No. Holy crow.
You know, Munin and Munin.
Now then. What else do we have on the bench? Well, we have 30 orcs. We have the truck, as I've shown. We have the Death Killer War Trike.
His attempted project for tonight.
I don't know if I'm going to actually work on it tonight, but
thus I said attempted.
I'm just so happy with that box. I want to hold off on building it though until I get some more of these boys painted because I have so many prime stuff. But after my first Death Dread and looking at the rules a bit more, I want to magnetize the other two dreads, and I think I want to magnetize my. I think I really want to magnetize my Killicans. So still on the fence about that one.
Heinrich stopped tormenting Zane, by the way. Even though it's really funny. Hi, Kaiju!
Hello, Kaiju. Also, other things we've learned over the last week. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Alex Drake, for turning us on to Sprue Brothers. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I've got vehicles. I've got a couple of trucks in the middle here. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I painted those guys in 2 nights, and actually they came out real. I honestly, I got to say, I am really, really super pleased by how these little guys came out. I mean, they have so much character, and you don't realize for a 30-year-old figure, these things are actually super dense. I mean, they've got a lot of I hear that. That's the thing, Mike. I don't know that I I'm not always a big fan. I'm not always a big proponent of magnetizing. Sometimes I think people over magnetize. And if I don't magnetize, then I have an excuse to get another one. My brother sending me over stuff, but real quick deal. But I want to give a shout out to my brother, Sprue Brothers. They are a online company that for models and supplies. I'm running short on the blue that I'm doing all my orcs in because my orcs are a very specific shade of blue that I've actually really fallen in love with them. I love this bright, deep, rich blue, and that's it's the Vallejo Model Colors flat blue. It's just a really good looking color.
Hi, Mini Warmut.
Warmut. So I'm running low on it at this point with the amount of stuff I've painted. And I've got 2 bottles en route, plus an extra bottle of oily steel and a bottle of pale flesh that I thought it'd be nice to try out to see if it works for in place of pale witch flesh.
Nice.
So
finally got. Oh my God, his Gasland stuff right today.
Yeah, I got to get my Gasland stuff. I have an entire box. I want to focus on orcs for April. I mean, that's a big thing. I've decided that well, probably April and May is going to be a lot of orc stuff. I want to try and get as much of this done by the end of May.
Like child, my darling.
With the goal.
Thank you.
With the goal of having the army ready to roll by the end of May. We'll see. I still got this entire box to do, and I still have 2 boxes of Ludas that I still have to build and paint. So I got plenty of stuff to do. I mean, it's a good thing because I'm not hating working from home as much anymore. I've found a nice middle ground. But it's tough sometimes. So being able to focus on painting. I mean, I cranked through these guys last night, and I actually came to bed at a normal time last night. So
I wouldn't know I was unconscious.
yeah. So that's on the bench. I mean, we got a lot going on because there's not much else going on. Well, and that's the funny thing.
Middle ground equals alcohol.
Yeah.
Hells yes.
I mean, that's the funny thing. Honestly, I know we joke about drinking a lot. I've actually cut back. I've actually cut back on my alcohol intake quite a bit over the last few weeks.
Mostly because it's a pain in the ass to have to go out and get a new bottle every couple days.
Well, part of it is a pain in the ass.
We don't buy. Okay, I know it sounds like a lot, but we don't get the big bottles of stuff. We get like a little one that's gone like in a day or two.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't really. I mean, even when I am drinking, I don't drink a lot. We'll have one drink. Yeah, it's one big drink, but I'll have that one drink, and then I'm like, oh, and I'm done because I don't like getting hammered. But sometimes when my back is really acting up, having a little something to just kind of loosen things up is always good.
And given the fact that I think it was Tuesday, I decided to go and down what was left of some of my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not at the restaurant right now. I'm so sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, all those 100-hour weeks, or you missing them?
So
who wants to see my attempt at a Frank Miller?
Yeah, let's take a peek at that before we get into news of the week. Yeah, bring it in.
I can't get in there anymore. Tilt it forward. There we go. I got it. Can you all see this?
Yeah, they can see it. You can see it on the screen. They can see it. So this is the piece that she's working on for a commission for Hellchild.
I got a little carried away with the black pen, if nobody can tell.
Well, it's Frank Miller style, so it's...
I can imagine the barbecue isn't exactly, but God, do I want some.
Luckily, at least on Saturdays, we have an option for one of the best barbecues in town because he's got a truck, and he's considered a essential business. So
mostly because looks like you have shade in some areas. Thank you.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago how to shade using a pen.
So, yeah. I think after she gets through the commissions she currently I have a commission for her.
I have 3 more ahead of that.
Yeah.
Because I have one that TMP has requested. It's a number of headshots that he wants me to do for him, which I've got an idea on how I'm going to do that. And Commodore has one for me that he wants me to do his knights. And I've got a pretty hoo-ha idea about that. Mike, I'm starting to think you're a glutton for punishment, honey.
I must work! Hey, we'll be here. We'll be here.
We'll be here until 9, like always.
Oh, and just so we said,
for heaven's sake.
The bike. Well, I mean, people like the this is the base on that bike base. I actually, when I put this guy on the base, rather than putting him straight on. The idea is to actually have him at a bit
John Woo flavor to him.
actually have a bit of an angle. So yeah, about like this. So I got to hit him with some Abaddon Black and gloss him up, and then I can start putting down his multicolor stuff. What?
Nothing. Just need a bigger pen. I'm doing the wolf fur.
Okay. That's a
wonderful thing.
Nothing wrong with it.
Make that you pathetic. I just think you're a glutton for punishment, considering how much you worked, man. It's either that or you really like those paychecks, or you just really, really like what you do, which I can't really say much because I loved my job at Michael's. I haven't worked in 3 weeks now. I'm going insane.
But she's trying one.
And I'm trying to resist the urge to draw my friends and I's World of Warcraft characters as Warhammer characters. Considering, one's a human barbarian who's basically a frost wolf who's dating a night elf.
Frost wolf? You mean a space wolf?
Space wolf. Whatever, leave me alone. God damn it. I don't have an excuse tonight.
All right. Well, let's go into news of the week. So over the weekend, we got to see round 3 of the reveals. The new Cainite Daughters of Cain warband for Warcry. Really, really, really gorgeous figures. Gosh, I might have to get them. They are gorgeous.
Necron!
The new book for Psychic Awakening, Pariah, and they showed the new plastic of the Necron character that's only been in Finecast up to now, and the Illuminator, and a figure for the Inquisitor that has been narrating the Psychic Awakening videos up till now, with her huge dragon skull looking shoulder piece and holding a dragon on her wrist.
That's a chick.
That's a chick. That's how cool that armor is looking. I think we may have found a replacement for Inquisitor Shadowfax, or Inquisitor Greyfax, for Donna the Noble. That big dragon skull is just such a gorgeous looking shoulder piece.
Yes, and we did see the giants.
And the giants, the Gargants, are getting their own army. Wow. Here's the thing about the Gargants. It's basically like the Imperial Knights. They're gigantic dudes that 2 or 3 of them make up a full army and then walk down the field and crush things. It'll work better in Age of Sigmar, but they're still going to just be devastating. I mean, hopefully they learn some from the rules that they did for the Knights to make them more usable. The fact that they've got 3 different sizes of Knights, or 3 giants right off the bat. I mean, I can only imagine the price point on that huge Gargant has to be, it's got to be a $200 model. They absolutely look fantastic. If I was not so set in my heart on my next AOS army being the Ogres, I'd really think about doing the Gargants. They're both destruction, and I'm really, really set on the Ogres. I really, really like the Ogres. They're just beautiful figures, and they fit what I want to do. But those Gargants, I mean, man, since I haven't actually spent a dime on the Ogres yet, going Gargants, I mean, their start collecting box is going to be a single figure. Here's your Gargant army. Start with this, but it's 1 figure. Yeah, well,
that's 500 points right there. Take it.
Yeah, I mean the Gargants look fabulous. They look absolutely, considering there's one of the figures that's walking around with a bag that it's got stuffed full of people, and there are people screaming trying to get out of the bag, and it's got one in its hand that it's about to eat. I mean, it's just like, oh my god, these are ridiculous. Um, they're just gorgeous figures, and they harken back to the old giant figures that they used to do back in the late 90s and the early 2000s that were all humongous resin, all resin and humongously expensive figures. And they go back to harken to those figures. They've got that same kind of character to them. They're gorgeous looking figures. Oh yeah, I mean, the Ogres are just, to me, I actually, the first thing I want to do is I want to get a hold of that the Beast Claw Raiders box set, the start collecting box, because I really want to build those of the Frost guys. I've got an idea for a scheme in my head for how to paint them that I really, really want to get. And I want to do a fire belcher. I actually want to do a squad of lead belchers, just a group of them with those big, walking around with those cannons. So
I'm a horrible human being because every single time I think of that, I think of that first text to speech when they were all playing the fantasy game. I'm gonna go back to what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I could, because they're both destruction, I could just get one Gargant and run it with Ogres, and that would be a lot of fun. Some of the Gargant sculpts, I mean, gosh, they're just so much fun. I mean, one of them's got a cage that it's carrying on its back as a backpack. It's just fun, crazy models. So yeah, the Gargants look really great. The Psychic Awakening stuff looks really great. Not everybody's a big fan of Blood Bowl. I love Blood Bowl. Snotlings are finally back. Finally, the Snotlings are back. And it's an all Snotling team. Okay. Snotlings is a team. But admittedly, one of the things they have is a freaking steamroller. Okay, just so you understand, sweetheart, do you know what Snotlings are?
They sound like Nurglings.
No. Think of a goblin or a grot.
Mm-hmm.
Now make them half-sized. They're psychopathic. Tiny goblins.
The Plague Child is actually in their room working on a story. So, hey, Plague Child, Mike Hawkins says he misses picking on you.
Mm-hmm.
What? Mike Hawkins is on in the chat for the first time in forever, and he says he misses you. He misses picking on you. So where are you?
Chapter Master Artie, good to see you.
Hello.
How big is a Blood Bowl pitch? I'd have to check. I'm actually thinking about building a custom one for my team. But they are a standard thing. I want to say I'd have to pull up
Psycho-Catholic orcs? What?
No, Snotlings are not Psycho-Catholic orcs. They're just itty bitty. They're psychic. They're psycho. They're insane. They're like half the size of goblins, and they will just do anything.
Zane says that because of Heinrich's comments, he told the people in his meeting that he had a family emergency.
Nice.
I can't repeat what they are, unfortunately, because even though the it's not a bad word, it just inspires bad thoughts. Missed you too.
So yeah, and the Snotlings they're insane. They, in the original edition of Blood Bowl, which I have the books for over there, they refer to them as the equivalent of 5-year-old football hooligans. And it's interesting because nobody's sure where they got 5-year-old footballs from. That's the line out the book. It's really silly. So yeah, Snotlings are great. They're insane. They're one of the few races that you can throw them with a big guy, you can chuck them, you can pick them up and throw them, and there's no range penalty because they're as big as a ball. They actually have a penalty to try and catch the ball because they have to make basically an armor save when they have to catch the ball because the ball's as big as them. So if they don't catch it right, it'll basically flatten them on the pitch and bounce away, and they'll just be knocked out on the pitch. So I want to say a Blood Bowl pitch is 16 squares wide and no, it's 20 squares wide. It's 20 squares wide and I think 36 long, plus 2 rows at each end. That's the actual end zone. Yeah, they used to call them runts. They're absolutely hilarious. They're all the intelligence of the goblins, but with all the insane hooliganism of full-grown orcs. They're just incredibly fun. 16 by 36. I thought they were 20 by 36, but I knew it was close. Yeah, and they're 1-inch squares. And that is the one thing that kind of still weirds me out because a couple of the big guys, when I started playing Blood Bowl back in the 90s, all the figures had standard 1-inch or 25 millimeter bases. Big guys had a standard of a 2-inch by 2-inch square base. Apparently, big guys don't have a standard base anymore. Kaiju, just so you know, Chaos Dwarves got a brand new range of models for Blood Bowl. They still exist. They may not exist in any other game, but the Chaos Dwarves, along with those weird Lamassu looking things, they're basically centaur, dwarf, lion things. They still actually have figures for Blood Bowl, and they're great looking, and they're the classic with the huge ringlet curls and the ringlet beards. The what do you call it? The ones that look like Babylonian stuff. Well, that's the thing. They still exist in Blood Bowl. You can still get them. I think you have to get them through Forge World, but they actually still have them. They're great. They're just great figures. And again, it's crazy because it's the old classic look with the Babylonian curled beard. They're fun looking figures. I only know of a couple guys that play right now, and because everything's the way it is right now, the games aren't going on. But there's a guy at the regular game store we go to that wants to get a.
I'm officially done doing freaking wolves.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm done doing this wolf.
This wolf. You're not done doing wolves, period. You have at least 2 more to do. LOL! Well, too bad.
I can get it and do it again.
I'm
sure she won't mind.
Yeah, that was the thing. The big guys, well, they used to be on squares. They used to be on square 50 millimeter bases. And now they don't even have a standard base size for the big guys, which is kind of aggravating. I don't care about squats.
Get the heck away.
Russian alternative, cyclic and chaos. Yeah, no, they're 50 millimeter. Yeah, they're 50 millimeters because they're 1-inch squares. You are a pain in the butt, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty.
Right now she's not very happy because the uncle.
Well, and that's the thing. the problem is they don't have the standard, and it's like, well, how does that work then when you want to move them? Because the rules don't say that they're on double-sized bases, so you could technically put a big guy on a regular 25 millimeter base. Now the problem is that I bought a group of wood elves, and they're all on 32 millimeter bases. They're brand new figures on 32 millimeter bases on a game that uses a 25 millimeter grid. I don't care about squats. I played squats back when they were new and real, and they went away.
I don't care for them because he is one.
No, I'm not a squat. You making fun of my height? You know I'm really sensitive about that.
That you?
Get out.
Okay.
Hmm?
You told me to get out. Ooh, there it is. I need something.
Well, that's the thing. I actually haven't seen a brand new Blood Bowl, the brand new Blood Bowl board. Are they actually 32 millimeter squares? Maybe eventually I'll have to buy the kit. Because the problem is I'm playing it, but I'm playing it on the computer right now. So, I mean, they're squares and the figures fit on the squares. So, I gotta say though, I'm a little disappointed in the Wood Elf figures. They're beautiful figures, but the two catchers on the team, they have so little to attach to the base. It's like how are these going to stay? They have been scaled to 32 millimeter squares. Okay, then that makes a lot more sense. So then, yeah, you'd have to put the big guys on. But that's the thing. If you put them on a 40 millimeter, that's not 4 squares. You can't put them on a 32 because that's too small, but you can't put them on a 40 because that's still too small for the squares. I don't even get it. It makes me not want to buy a Treeman, although I really want a Treeman figure for my elf team. So, do you play on Steam? Yes, I do. Yeah, I've got Blood Bowl and Blood Bowl 2. I haven't played a lot of versus games because I don't have any of the. Yeah, they do, but in a Wood Elf team, they do create they give you a point of strength in the middle of the line. So there's a specific strategy for your team when you're using them. Yeah, she got kicked out. She can come back if she wants, but she got kicked out for talking mean about my height because she knows I'm sensitive about that. She decided to be mean to me, so she can get out. Sambozo 6426. Let me write that down. 426. All right, I will do that. I will do that, Mike. I'll get you added on there because I'd love to play. I would love to play against other people, see how the game works out. She was told she can come back. She wants to be a brat. She can stay in the other room, but she can come back here. She can be a good girl. I don't care about you, Zane. Whatever. You lied to people, so. All right. So let's see here. I think that covered. Oh, let's see. There's some 30K news. There's a new character that's an Emperor's Children, but he's a loyalist. So that really makes it complicated because My old Beastman team. See, I'm a big fan of elves and dwarves. I love. You're abusing this poor woman. Yeah, I do all the time. It's what I do. I'm an abusive, horrible person. And let anybody tell you. Yeah, it's a great looking. Let me tell you. I haven't read the book. I'll be honest. But I love the figure. It's a gorgeous figure. I would honestly contemplate buying the figure just to convert it to another, army. Because I mean, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking figure. Honestly, it'd be funny. You could, if I could scrape off some of the Emperor's Children details, I would love to paint him up as a dark angel. Because I mean, he's got that sword, that look. He's a who you calling we, Kimosabi? It's a great looking figure. It's a really, really great looking figure. And they've got the two temporary order figures. They had the Ultramarine captain or a lieutenant, and he was an okay looking figure, but he didn't really appeal to me. And now they have the two. One's the Terminator, the librarian in Terminator armor. That looks real. That's a really good looking figure. I may think about getting that one and converting that to a rune priest in Terminator armor. And then there's the other one that's the Sister of Battle from the 7th edition Codex cover. Although she's got the wrong expression on her face. It's actually, it's funny. It's the same pose, but it's not, because she's looking straight on instead of looking up, because she's the shot has her up. And she's got a much harder, angrier look on her face and a much more scarred face. So it's based on the character from the 7th edition Codex, but I don't think it's really her. I think it's just kind of inspired by. But that being said, even though I don't play Sisters of Battle, that's a gorgeous figure. Again, that's another one that I would want to get to see what Lady D does to paint it. I don't know. I gotta think about it. Yeah. Thing is that, again, I have to look at. I gotta limit how much models I bought, because being home, we saved a lot of money. We saved a lot of money not paying for gas, not going out to eat, cooking groceries and cooking at home. We've saved a lot of money, and a lot of money's gone into savings, which is really good. But I've spent a lot of money on models, and I'm naughty for it. I bought the Death Killer War Truck. I got 2 packs of Ludas. I got the Apocalypse box. I bought the truck. Definitely a head swap for you. See, I like the face. It's just, the problem is I like the head. I actually like the look of the figure. They're saying, well, it's the character from the 7th edition cover. And I'm like, it's not her. Because the one from the 7th, can I really put a price on my mental health? No, I can't. And that's a lot of what this has been. I'll be honest. I have needed the therapy because I'm stuck in this house. No, it's not that bad. It's okay. I just, honestly, I mean, I've bought some stuff in preparation for doing more stuff. I'm not ready to reveal everything because I've actually bought something kind of big deal. But I'm not ready to reveal that yet because it's not set up. I don't have it ready to go yet. But when it's up and going, I'm going to probably do an entire video on the channel about it, because I'm excited. I am super excited. So that'll probably be coming this weekend. I hate you, Zane. Yes, I got a 3D printer. It's not set up yet, but I got a 3D printer. So I got the Elegoo Mars, and I am right now doing a lot of reading and a lot of video watching and a lot of research, and yeah. So and it arrived, and I've got it, and it's still in the box because, like I said, I have to have a specific place to put it. On the other hand, Al, you haven't bought squat, but have you built squat? Have you painted squat? Have you dug into your stash? Yeah. Yeah, I've been going and looking at stuff too. Your closet, your garage, you don't tell me you ain't got models. Don't even try and tell me you ain't got models lying around your house. I know you got models. I've seen your closet, buddy. I know what you got in your closet. I've seen your model closet. I looked at it and you're like, whoa, yeah, it's the locker of doom. There's some incredible good stuff in there. Oh, that. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Now I gotta ask, and I gotta know this because I have to know, because I always ask this, and for whatever reason I never sticks in my brain because my brain, I'm dumb, so I gotta ask. I know World War II, but are you a armor, an aircraft, or a ship guy? I'm pretty. No marks. All right. I'll have to remember that. So armor, airplanes, or ships. I seem to remember you were aircraft. Like aircraft is your big deal, and if that's the case, I just need to know that for sure. But then I was thinking, I think it's ships. I mean, you always do great armor, but I thought ships were your thing. So I just want to know specifically, yeah, who you? Yes, my big brother. Your big joy when World War II stuff, or if there's another kind of kit that even applies to you better, because you're a modeler, not a gamer. So when I'm looking at stuff for my big brother. So I need to know. Yeah, give me that file, Zane. Get me that file, because I got stuff to print. World War II German aircraft and armor. Okay. Yeah. Oh God. Flames of War actually super appeals to me. When the gaming store that's in our neighborhood opens back up, or gaming store in our town opens up, they actually have the Flames of War starter box for $50. That is a deal I cannot wrap my head around. That is actually such a good deal. So I can't believe any game, full blown game, can start off with basic starter boxes. Everything for 2 armies in a single box, and it's under $100. It's $50 freaking dollars. It's got a full size rule book plus all the just better systems. Okay, for the Flames of War box, let me quick go over. The Flames of War box comes with a full starter. It's a full starter American Army, which I think is, I want to say it's, I know there's some infantry and there's some Shermans in there, and then there's a German army in there that's a bunch of I think it's a couple of their Tigers and their infantry, and it's equivalent in their point system in size, and it's the equivalent, to put it in the terms that because Milwaukee actually is the center place for a massive Flames of War fan club. They're like a club. They organize big events. They have, when the gaming stores are open, we'll talk. I mean, we'll talk. Because you're here in Milwaukee, Games Universe carries it because the Badger Wargamers, they're headquartered out of Milwaukee. And that's actually, they consider that to be their home store, the Games Universe in Franklin. And it's a really great starter set. It comes with a full-sized, it's geared for tournament play, and they've got like if you go there on Thursday nights, you go to their place on Thursday nights when the stores are open, obviously. I'm not going to say this again, but that's just when the stores are open. When you go there on Thursdays, they've usually got 8 to 12 tables running most nights. So, I mean, it's big. And considering the Badger Wargamer Club is based out of Milwaukee. And if you're familiar with Tabletop Minions, Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions is actually a member of the club. He's really good friends with a couple of the guys that run the club. And apparently a couple of times a year, he comes down to play. And then a couple of times a year, they go up north to play. So, it's apparently really, Flames of War is really popular here in town. So, and here in the state. Yeah, it's really popular. And it's funny, he was talking about it on his channel because he's like, I had no interest in historical games. I had no interest in historical games. And then I got to this age where when I was a young man, I considered it to be the beginning of old age or older age, middle age, whatever you want to call it. And it was the day I hit that age, I went, that's a historical game. I'm interested in that. What's going on here? I'm the exact same way. I have been introduced to historical games for years and years and years and years. There used to be a skirmish level war game for Vietnam called Squad Leader. It didn't have miniatures, but it was the same. It was little cardboard squares and whatnot. Are you actually gonna sit down and be with me? You'll not be naughty.
What am I?
Give me kisses.
In all honesty, I came actually back in here to give back the dessert that I was eating because I ate too much of it. And now I have a tummy ache.
Oh my God! Why would you eat so much, you silly girl?
Because it was really tasty. And now my tummy hurts.
Anyhow, so I used to play Squad Leader. And I couldn't get into it. It was okay, but I couldn't get into it. And then there was another one that was made for tanks, and I had a buddy of mine that was super into it, and I didn't really dig it. It wasn't my thing. And then I want to say about 10 years ago, I was working for Wizards of the Coast, and they had a Axis and Allies miniatures game that they were selling the same way that you would do the Whiz Kids Marvel superheroes or DC superheroes or the old D&D collectible miniatures game. And they did a Axis and Allies miniatures war game in the exact same way. So you was collectible miniatures, and they got random boxes, and you have a rare and 2 uncommons and then a couple commons. I work for Wizards of the Coast, so I got like 2 cases of them, and they're 15 millimeter figures. I have a storage container of them somewhere up in my attic. And now I'm thinking about pulling them out.
We have a small pest problem up there.
We have a squirrel.
There's more than one.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about pulling them out.
No matter how many of those little bastards our cats kill, they keep coming back. and they traumatized my pit bull.
So I want to see if they're actually a true 15 millimeter, because if they're the same size and compatibility with Flames of War, I have, and I mean seriously, like a 40-gallon, well, maybe not 40-gallon, but like one of those 20-gallon storage containers filled with just these figures loose. So I can prime them and repaint a couple of them. They look kind of banged up, but they'd be great. So they got me thinking, because I'm so interested in doing World War II miniatures. But not enough that I want to invest a lot of money in it. That's the real important thing. Not enough that I want to invest a lot of money in it. So the idea that Commodore wants to split the starter box with me, that's a good thing.
Because you need more hobby stuff.
You do.
I will make comments, and you will banish me again.
I have a 3D printer now.
Yeah, so do I.
I can print things.
That's okay. I'll be able to print a Dragon and Aerith.
I actually have some wonderful busts that I'm going to be printing out for you.
Oh, I get to print Dragon
I know.
and Aerith.
You got to first draw them and get them rendered.
Yeah, I need to learn how to use the print.
On the other hand, I have a Tifa bust that I downloaded for you.
Sweet.
Where she's doing this.
Yes, my Tifa.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tifa, for those of you who have played the Final Fantasy VII,
we are not a video game channel.
PlayStation 4.
She wants it
with you.
She wants it so bad. So bad.
Oh my god.
They apparently have that same guy that made the Tifa bust. Mm-hmm. I think I get a cloud bust from him too.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Basically, some guy got source files for the game and grabbed the 3D models out of the game and rendered them into printable figures already.
Cool.
So there's a Tifa one I saw.
What?
Look, it's Richard.
Richard the Warlock is a female.
You know.
Here we go. I can't see it.
No, don't stop.
No, I can't.
I love you. Stop.
Never.
Look, it's a battle nun. She's one of the nuns. She's one of the, what is it, the Mother Superiors? It's just a battle.
There we go.
Why are you like this?
You're seriously.
Why are you like this? All right.
Just be happy that I haven't had the thank you, Canonus. I like that one better.
Canonus, there you go. Whatever.
Just be glad I haven't started putting together the cyberpunk outfit that I want.
I'd be fine with it. But take your face out of there.
Oh.
Why?
I wanna. He's about to pull a Christopher Titus.
She's defective.
I was born a child. At least I had pants on.
Well, thank God for that.
Well, I'm pretty sure some of our viewers do not share.
You wouldn't be allowed to get up if you didn't.
I was half tempted to go put on my shirt with the pentacle, the dress.
How about you put that on for Friday?
Are we gonna do one on Friday?
I hope so.
Have you even talked to the boys?
I have talked to the boys. If they don't have me on Friday, then we'll do something live on Saturday. We might do something live on Saturday anyhow. By the way, I am currently one of the most detailed builds I have ever done. What are you working on, Al? I'm actually dying to hear about this because
I'm gonna tell
the
you.
last
Tell your ass to come down and see him.
the last thing I saw you actually building, you were doing the plating, you were doing the foiling on a, I think it was a 17. I think it was a B17. I don't remember exactly what. I know you were showing it off because it actually had the etched. You actually had the etched brass plate stuff, and you're putting the foiling on the plane, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. What are you working on?
Zane wants to know how come I'm wearing pants.
Zane, I'll have Commodore kick you out.
It's like he forgets that, I'm cute.
I don't forget
and
you're cute.
people want to see.
I don't forget you're cute. I just don't understand why you have to be so. Why are you like this? Looking like a member of the Al-Qaeda.
Not.
All right. So
Actually,
because you're watching, specifically because you're watching, she puts them on as soon as we know that you connect up. Until you get on, she doesn't. That's this. We have an ankle monitor on you, Zane, that you don't know about. A 1 scale Mosquito FB Mark 6. I have to look and see what the hell that is. It just sounds awesome. 110 brass photo etch pieces and over 150 resin detail. Oh, creepy. That sounds crazy cool. That sounds crazy cool, Al. You putting links to that up on the Hobby Cave or up on the your Facebook recently? Because I want to show that off. That just sounds crazy. 148 scale. I gotta see how big this thing is. So that sounds great.
You know, the last time I did this thing called me a cultist.
Yeah, well, Zane will cut off his feet. You know what?
I was gonna actually point out I'm actually not wearing pants. I'm wearing leggings. Kind of a difference.
Yeah.
Not picky.
And as far as Henry Botha said earlier,
I saw about the get yourself a Dremel.
A Dremel with a diamond cutter. I actually just bought this wonderful kit. I just dumped half of it though. Jesus. I just bought this at Walmart recently. They had this on sale and it is awesome. And I have to put this all back in place because everything fell out. Crap baskets.
Give it to me.
There you go. Yeah, there's an inner tray. There's an inner tray of plastic piece that's supposed to lay on top of that.
Yeah, and I think I accidentally threw that sucker away.
Great. Okay, I'll have to pull those up and show those off then. So I'm going to be, it's some good stuff. I mean, if you guys can't tell again, I always talk about how incredible he is. P47D. Yeah, okay. Yeah, lightning. Yeah. Great stuff. All right. We'll have to get those up and show those off because those are great stuff, Al. Again, you're one of the most personally, you are the most talented modeler I personally know. So, and obviously, I personally also think you're one of the best I've ever seen. So, your work just stuns me to this day, every time I see it. We're getting through the first third. We're getting close to. I mean, I'm already thinking about mid-year goals. Because we got May and June, and then we are midway through the year. So, thinking about some mid-year goals, things to start thinking about, and what are you going to do this year? I started off with my my first goal of the year, which was to paint slower and try and go into better detail. And I think these orcs kind of show it. I spent a lot of time comparatively for what should be a simple build. They've got a number of different textures on them. They've got, metal shoulder pieces. Yeah, I don't know. She's being a chaos cultist right now. I don't know what their deal is, but love her to death. I have a sanding wheel on it because I don't want to waste the wheel and take it back off. Normally the wheel would go right there. So yeah, just put. What am I missing two? And there's a cutting wheel. There should be an open cutting wheel somewhere on there. There should be a stick with one of these wheels on it in there. Because it's in there before. Yeah, there it is. That's the other one. That's the one that's missing. I have it there because it can't go anywhere else. That's it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why that one's missing there. That's it. All right. So yeah, they had it on sale. It's like a 200-piece kit of drama compatible pieces. Because I am doing a lot of conversion work coming up, so I've got a wonderful cordless Dremel, but I needed to get some extra pieces for it. And these are polishing pads and buffing pads, and there's all kinds of neat stuff in there. So I bought this kit like super cheap. It was like $20, and 175 pieces.
No, he has not picked up the Gaskell 3D model yet to print.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually I've been looking at a lot of. There it is. Yes, I've been looking at a lot of 3D models to print. Some of them, I mainly been sticking to bits, but there are a couple models that I wanted to get just to try and paint. Some of them that are not replicas. Ones that are not replicas, ones that I can do as accounts as type figures. Like I wanted to get another war boss, but I wanted to get another war boss. There aren't any other war bosses. There's literally one war boss that they offer currently on the line, and they've got like 20 different options. So I went, you know what, and I found some other war boss options, and so I've got that. I actually got to learn how to take pieces, parts, and put them together in a single model. Hey, Kaiser from Modeling Advantage. Good to see you.
Hi, Kaiser.
You got me all distracted. You were talking about something, and now I'm talking about the printer again. Yeah, I mean, that's what I kind of want to do. I have a lot of cool things that I've found pieces for. I have some cool terrain pieces, and I actually went out to Miscast Terrain, and I gave him $10, and he put together, as a fellow YouTube creator, he and his dad put together a set of sci-fi greebles that print on a flat bed. So they're easy to print. They're really low chance for failure type prints. So I went and paid him $10 for his kit because I love the greebles and I love the look of it. So I can use them for adding on to terrain and whatnot. Yes, you can. But yeah, I picked up some interesting bits, some alternative shoulder guard pieces, Mark III shoulder guards to replace your regular shoulder guards, so I can actually make my Primaris look with some old school bits on them easier. Like I said, I found a lot. I mean, I've downloaded You have to give me a link of that in the Discord there, Zane, because that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I actually heard about that using the foam backed manicure kit for. And that's the thing. I'll be honest with you. The main things I'm looking to do with this 3D printer is to print out bits, to like increase the models I can work with, and take the bits I have, because I have a ton of bits, but I'm missing I've got like 20 torsos, but I have only like 3 pairs of legs. So I want to just print out some basic legs so I can put the rest of the figures on there.
And Heinrich, for me, the whole thing I want to print is I want to print like display pieces of them.
Yeah.
I'm only doing display.
And that's exactly right, Henrik. That's the exact same thought I have. The big thing that I'm actually looking to print out, the big things, just marine legs. Let's take that off. Let's take that off line and talk about that, because I'm interested. And that's exactly it. I'm looking for terrain bits, secondary bits to add on to figures to make them look better. Like
if I lost somebody's arm.
Yeah, like you lost somebody's arm or a head or an extra pair of legs because I've got all these torsos and no legs to go with them.
Or there was a tragic accident involving a broken bottle of plastic glue and a squad of witches.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's like I've got all these extra pieces, but I don't have enough to make dudes. And it's the same idea of going out and buying Spellcrow bits. It's the same idea. I'm using mostly GW pieces, but I want to have some secondary pieces to work them out, and some secondary looks for some weapons and whatnot, like the axe that she created and you rendered and all that. I love that axe.
Which I went and actually ended up redoing slightly so that the Futhark runes on them actually make sense when you read it.
Yeah.
Now it says Fenris.
The other thing that I actually got, I got some busts. Squidmar actually had some free busts that he did the concept art for and paid up people on Fiverr to build. And so he put a couple of busts out on his site for free. I grabbed a couple of those that look really cool. And one of the big things is
Raging Heroes sells them.
Raging Heroes sells STLs for their stuff.
So
and there's a couple companies that do Patreon, and they have like a $10 a month Patreon, and every month they produce 20 new figures, and they are well, that's the whole thing anymore. What if you don't have a 3D printer? You're fine. Yeah, you weren't here. You were gone. I bought a Elugumar's 3D printer, so
it will be put up and set to work probably this weekend, maybe by Sunday, once I get the library space that used to be our son's room. Don't stop it! Ah!
You're muffled, and you're coming off like a dork.
I was wondering how long it was going to take him to do that. Hot, cold air on my face. It's actually quite warm in there, thank you.
Shock squids. Well, that's the whole thing. Squids, they're amazing. On the other hand, for those of you that like squats, I have found squats pieces, and since they're not in production, they're completely fair for use. I've found entire squats armies and stuff you can build and print pieces for. So,
a Grotzuka, does that mean it shoots rods?
Basically. No, it's a giant cannon.
Oh, that's a big
shooter. That's a big shooter. This is a cannon. She's looking at the box. Just for the minis. And that's the thing. I'm looking to run a dark fantasy game with a Nordic flair to it. So probably later this year, you guys are going to see some terrain builds that are appropriate for, say, fantasy gaming and Age of Sigmar. But I'm going to be building some Nordic themed buildings, and I'm going to need figures for that. So I'm looking at Nordic barbarians and other kinds of things, so that we'll be printing them out and painting
Pagan minis.
them.
Give Adam some love.
So to give you an idea here, the building, I've already worked out the pieces for it. If you're familiar with Skyrim, I'm doing the house that you can build in game.
Which one?
I'm building it with the 2 flat roof sides, so you can have the ramps up and have the area, and then the tower in the back.
Really?
Telltale Chemical Tower.
Yeah, I'm well aware which one it is.
Yeah.
I remember.
I like that. That's actually, of all the looks, that's my favorite looking version of the house.
Yeah, I like it the other way when it's got the storage. That way my kids have that full deck to go and run around, and then I can hear them screaming, "No, get away!" And I go outside, and there's a fucking giant outside my house. And it's like, what the hell did you kids do?
Yeah, I like the idea of the tower with the 2 side pieces. I also like the one with the one that's got the kitchen on one side and the
garden on the other.
The garden on the other.
So that nice
slope roof, and then put the tower on the back of that. That's another.
That one.
That's a really nice, good looking. And the thing is, what I want to do is I want to build them modularly, so you can easily build them to taste.
Excuse me.
And again, because we are a 40K channel that focuses on terrain. I usually even call it 40K. We are a gaming channel that does a lot of 40K and Age of Sigmar stuff and focuses on terrain. I'll be doing a build for that house probably later this fall. Gonna break out the foam cutter and 3D print some windows. That's one of the other big things I want to do.
I like being a companion too, Kaiju. I love being a companion.
I love punching people to death. That is hilarious. Yeah.
Yes, and the music.
Yes. And again, I want to go through there potentially. We've talked about it.
Going back?
Yeah. If only for a month. Just to see how the game is. But I want to spend most of my time in Grizzly Hills getting screenshots. Yeah, I mean,
meanwhile, my druid's running around Grizzly Hills just jumping on random shit.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Again, you talk about things that are great for 3D printers. Printing out windows and doors. Printing out windows and doors are going to be really great because it's easier than trying to sit down and craft those freaking things out of popsicle sticks and matchsticks. You can print like some really nice looking church windows and stuff. I've found some STLs for those. So again, one of the nice things about the 3D printers for bits and bobs, Luke Towan doing his own railroading and miniature stuff. If you're not familiar with Luke Towan, you don't live on the internet and don't do anything miniature, and you're foolish and fooling yourself. If you don't know who Luke Towan is, go and see him. He just bought an HO scale kit of a 20-story apartment building and then built it. And then
is he the one that did the little zombie apocalypse?
The Apocalypse House on the Peak?
No. The block where it had the tattoo parlor and the restaurant and all that.
No, stuff. Luke Towan's the guy that did
I know he did I'm aware he's the one who did the freaking wonderful.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that tattoo parlor.
Yeah, I just remember somebody did it, and it was really cool because they hand painted on this giant squid tentacle thing on the side.
Yeah.
And you have 4 minutes.
That guy knows how to make scenery. Yes, that guy knows how to make scenery.
How I learned how to do what I do.
If you haven't seen his latest video, which he did earlier, well, no, because I still love scratch building. So what it'll be is I'm going to scratch build.
You just likes having the window frame.
Yeah, what'll be nice. It'll be able to take pieces from multiple things and build it up. What are you doing? You're not picking it up, are you?
Picking what up?
Oh, okay. Oh, she's bringing over one of my buildings.
Okay.
You see, it's the thing. A scratch building is not as hard as
it's not as finished as he would like it to be.
Yeah, I've still got things to do to this building. But I did.
When he says scratch build, basically all he wants to do is be able to build the door frames to pop in so they look a little bit better. Then, I mean, he likes the way he does, so he wants stuff like that, and like window frames, because window frames he typically uses popsicle sticks, and they're little, and it's very hard to get the cutout nice and even and smooth and straight.
And universal, and I have them all the same.
Does this top come off?
No, I glued it down because I was having problems with it. That's actually not that hard to do. I've done castles. One of the other things that I want to do, which is one of the things I'm missing for this build. Look at the roof. If anybody has ever seen a auto dealership, and that's actually what it's made for. It was made for zombie gaming. If you've ever seen an auto garage, what's on the roof? Air conditioner, central air, maybe a vent or something, and I don't have any of that.
There's also supposed to be like graffiti and stuff like that on
I actually have the graffiti. I just haven't put it on there yet. I actually bought O-Scale from Woodland Scenics. Does a bunch of water transfer decals.
Hold on. I'm grabbing one other thing for their viewing pleasure. And here's one other thing for your guys' viewing pleasure that he built for this game. As you can see, it is actually quite hollow, so it does not weigh that much.
But this is actually built to a set of plans that an actual set of plans built by Sears at the turn of the century, when you could buy buildings and have them mailed to you.
So, and again, you can see what we were talking about with the window frames. The reason why he would use the 3D printer for the frames and the doors. Each of the, just because I am so proud of this, each of the shingles are actually paper, is a cardstock that he cut and then glued down individually in strips. Each brick on this thing was
individually cut
and then pasted on.
Yeah, every.
And yes, very, very real cobwebs because
it's been sitting. I used it 6 months ago and haven't really used it since. Yeah, I mean, every single brick was individually cut and textured. Every single window was individually cut and textured. I love. Do I have an interior for it? Yes, but they're just flats because there's no point in having the vehicles buildings come apart. I want to put them on the table. When people go into the building, I take them aside and put them in here. Like Dungeon Tiles.
He does make dungeon tiles. I don't know where ours are. Otherwise, I would show you actually an entire set that he created.
Yes, I do dungeon tiles. And like this, also for my zombie game, I did this apartment building. When I was a young lad, I used to spend summers living with my older brother in the city of Elkhorn. Well, I should say the town of Elkhorn. I built the main street of Elkhorn. I went to Google Maps and I looked it up, and I run my zombie apocalypse game based in Elkhorn because it's nice and it's close enough to the city where you can get the stuff, but it's rural enough, so there's all that stuff there. So I'm actually running a role-playing game based on sort of, kind of. It's a Walking Dead sort of game.
Walking Dead, 28 Days Later,
and the Girl with All the Gifts kind of blended together.
Yeah.
But I
I've been
haven't.
trying to get him to actually run it in Discord,
Yeah.
like once a month or something.
But I'm running it in Elkhorn.
Now.
You can do it. Print a bunch of make molds and sell them online. You know, actually, my dungeon.
Our dungeon tiles?
Yeah, if I could print some. You know, here's the thing. There's actually 2 companies that actually make dungeon tiles already that are really good. That I wouldn't even bother. I make foam ones and they're really quick.
We make foam ones. They're lightweight. I think that if we started doing those again, because we actually toyed around with the idea of putting up an Etsy store to sell some of this stuff because they're super quick and easy for him to duplicate for tabletop terrain. And they're a little lightweight, so they kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So I'm working on some ways to make them better. But here's the thing.
This guy.
I did this based on an apartment building or an office. Yeah, it was an apartment building that's actually on the main street of Elkhorn. And I actually did a tutorial on this about 2 years ago.
Yes.
And so I've got trays, the floors that I can set up. So like tray 1, tray 2, tray 3. Terrain makes a living off it, I think, but he doesn't sell terrain. He does sell terrain. He sells custom terrain. He sells custom terrain to gaming stores, and he has his book, and he has a bunch of other stuff. He's also in a part of the world where you can make a lot of money doing that terrain stuff, honestly. England is a lot bigger.
Here's another.
Yes, the former hotel, Elkhorn Hotel. That is the building. I thought you might recognize what that building's based off of. Yeah, it's the former Elkhorn Hotel.
This is one of my favorites he did. This was one of the first ones he did for this particular campaign.
And this is actually based off of a Terrainiac build, except he did it out of, it was an MDF kit. It was an MDF kit that I just duplicated using foam board. This is all nothing but foam board on an MDF plate. Well, that's the whole thing. Like I said, I literally went to Google Images and looked up Elkhorn and just taking screenshots and making copies of buildings. And that's about half the buildings I have up there are copies of buildings from Elkhorn.
In this same particular game, I would like to point out that I would be his worst nightmare because I would, there's some things that he built where it's like my character would walk up, take one look at it and go, no thanks, I choose life. I played that video game. I know how that shit turns out.
Yeah, but this actually, there's an MDF kit that did this building, and I just decided to recreate it in foam board. And that was the whole idea. I built this to be usable in wargaming. I actually want to do an entire rotted out set like this, styled like that.
It's actually on our cards.
It's on the cards to do an entire rotted out, jungled over city. The whole idea is that it's a jungle, overgrown, war-torn city
that nature claimed back. Yeah. He had one where I looked at that and I went, nope. And he's like, come on, we're going to go into this military base so we can secure weapons. I saw how that shit turned out. I watched that movie and I played that game. Hell no.
But like I was saying, for graffiti, I actually found these model railroading kits. These are all O scale, so they're a little bigger than regular scale, so they work perfectly for building tags. And these are basically just water slide transfers. They're just semi-opaque, so where you put them down, you need to make sure you've got enough white underneath them so that they show up really well. But I bought like 4 packs of them because they're meant to be the tags you see on rail cars. And you can get them in both O scale and HO scale. O scale is about the right size for mini wargaming. HO scale is fine if you want to put some little stuff on it. They still look really good. I mean, that's the whole thing. The dream is to do stuff like that. Between my familiarity and okayness with casting resin and getting molds to actually do 2-part casting resin to make bits and to be able to print bits. I mean, people buy 3D printed bits. People buy 3D printed stuff. But I'm not getting into it for that. If there is a demand, I will probably end up putting together like an Etsy store and selling some stuff. But that's not really high on the list of goals right now. I had thought about it at first, honestly.
We were thinking about selling because steampunk style jewelry, corsets, capes.
And then I came to a realization. And as we're closing out the show, this is the realization that I came to, and this is something to think about. Do what you love and love what you do. That is an absolute maxim. But when you love something and you turn it into a job, will you still have the same passion for it when you want to have fun with it?
Capes, kaiju, capes. I know how to make hooded cloaks fairly well. It'd take me about a day, maybe 2.
And that's the thing. Yeah, O scale is 1/48 scale. And that's the thing. I love modeling. I love painting. I love building. I love this stuff. I could never be a commissioned painter. I could be the best painter I knew, and I could never be a commissioned painter. Because as soon as it becomes a job, and I have to do them a specific way, or have to do them for a specific order, or have to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, that takes the joy out of it. I like these boys because they're fun and they're really interesting builds and they're really cool looking and they're lots of character in these builds. I have 40 of these guys to paint, and when I am done painting these 20 of the old school orcs, I'll be okay never painting another one because they're the exact same. There's no variation. I have 40 grots in the old style grots where they're all in the exact same pose. And I have 40 of them to do. And I'll be honest, I'm dreading that a little bit. I'm like, ugh, they're all the same.
That's why I like what I do.
And it's why I like the boys.
Hi, Jam Jar!
Jam Jar, hey, love to you, my guy. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, Jam Jar. Thanks for popping by. Hey, no, that's okay. He's saying the same thing. So, that being said, love what you do and do what you love, but
don't let it
rule you. Don't let it consume you. This is my hobby. This is my passion. This is something I love. I'm willing to put money into stuff I love so I can make better stuff that I love.
And if we happen to sell a couple along the way, hey, awesome.
Yeah, that's great. But I don't go into it looking to make money because that's what I do work for. I do work so I can enjoy my hobby. I could see doing a single commission piece. But again, I couldn't see doing, I want a whole army. No, that's not going to happen. I know somebody wanted me to do a commission vehicle. I can maybe do that. Or a single figure they really want to done well. Maybe I could see doing that. I couldn't do repeated without my own input on it. That's just not what I do. Yeah. I mean,
I love you all. My pain has gotten to a point where I need to go lay down, put my feet up. So
good night, Lady D.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
And that being said, I ask you all, smash that like button because we are coming to a close here.
We are 2 people
away. 2 subscriptions away. So tell your friends, point at them, yell at them, shake them like babies, and tell them to come subscribe.
You did not just say that. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out.
I am 2 subscribers away from 500. Remember, guys, at 500, we're doing a couple giveaways and going to be putting some really great stuff down the line for
We
you.
got some badass custom swag coming.
So I love you all. Remember, guys, epic your game, epic your table by making your own stuff, and epic your life. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I want to give a quick shout out. Shank Babies, there you go. I want to give a quick shout out to my 4 Patreon members. We got Heinrich Botha, we got Joe Bookish, and we have Inquisitor Zane. Thank you so much for the 3 of you. And lastly, and not leastly, my buddy, my friend, my other Patreon, the guy that is near and dear to me, Commodore. Love you much, man. And love all of you. Thank you so much, fam. Thank you for being with us tonight. Have a great night, and we'll see you this weekend.